Hello and welcome to Life with Jane. Today is Foodie Friday and I'm making a recipe it's called different things in different countries. So in the in England, it's called bubble and squeak and it's a variation on it because I'm doing my own thing. In Scotland, it's called colcannon or it's called rumblethumps. All sorts of different names, but basically the main ingredient is, let me show you, is cabbage. So white cabbage, if you remember on my food haul I got the white cabbage. I've used half of it and all I've done is boiled it with some water and then chopped it up quite finely and drained it. So that's the white cabbage. And I've then got in my other pan, I've got some, still hot because I've only just drained it. I boiled the things first because you don't need to see that. There's a little bit of swede that was over and some potatoes. And again, probably 5 or 6 potatoes, depending on their size. And it was about 1/4 of a swede that I just had left over. You can use whatever leftover vegetables you've got. Now, cabbage and potato are not going to be very exciting. So we've got a frying pan and what I've done is I have fried in this frying pan a couple of large onions. These happen to be rosé onions, so a cross between a white and a red onion, and a couple of cloves of garlic. And all I did was chop them up finely and I've sautéed them. So that's our starting point. So what we need to do is let's put the heat on underneath this. And I'm going to put just a little bit of olive oil in there. I've used some olive oil for cooking the onions and things down anyway, but I want to use the olive oil because I think that will work quite nicely. And I'm just going to allow the heat to come up. Let me just put the pan over there because we don't need that. So I'm just allowing the heat to come up. It hasn't been off for very long, so it should be fine. And then I'm just going to pour all of the cabbage in. You can hear it sort of hissing and sizzling as it goes, but I just need to make sure that we've got, let me just get a spoon, that we've got the cabbage in. Like that. Okay, so the cabbage is in the pan and you can use butter if you want to. I try and keep things as healthy as I can, so I use olive oil all the time. And all we're going to do is to just fry off the cabbage a little bit to just get a bit of colour on it. It's all about flavour. Cabbage on its own is not wildly exciting. So we need to add, I've got some salt and pepper here, so I'm going to add some a little bit of salt first of all, and again you can add as much of anything as you want. So just a good old shake of salt, and then the herbs I'm going to use are, I've got garlic pepper, which as you know I use quite often. So I'm literally just going to sprinkle some of that on there. Probably 1/4 teaspoon. I've got some mixed herbs. So the mixed herbs are quite nice. And again, just a good old shake of those. And that's probably about 1 teaspoon. And I've got some smoked paprika because I really like smoked paprika. And I'm just going to do a bit of a shake of that on there, and that will add some extra flavour in on there. So I'm literally just going to stir this up a bit so we've got all of this mixed in together. And again, use the flavourings and things that you enjoy and you like. It's just a way to do a very cheap, economical meal. And the origins of Bubble and Squeak, I don't know about the colcannon or rumblethump, because I was brought up in England, and it used to be you would have a roast dinner on a Sunday, and then on a Monday you would have the leftover meat from the roast dinner would be put through a mincer, and you would have something like a shepherd's pie. Now I'm just going to add the onion mix in there now and put that in. So that's my onions and the so a couple of large onions and a couple of cloves of garlic. So that can go in there, and again I'm just sort of mixing it round. So the roast meat on the Monday would be put through the mincer, and it was a metal mincer that you put on the side with a screw on the side of your bench, almost like a vice, and you would then put the meat through and you'd mince it, and you would make a shepherd's pie or something like that on the Monday, because normally the roast meat that you would have would be beef or pork, so you would use that, and the vegetables you would chop up, add to a pan, or my mother used to do it in the grill underneath the cooker. You used to have a grill hob at the top, and she put it in underneath there, and would cook up the potato and the cabbage, and that would be the vegetables. So nothing at all ever went to waste. And I think that that's probably because, as I say, everybody was war babies, war family, and that's what, you know, that's what people would do. Okay, so this is my potatoes and my some of the swede, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, I don't actually want it to be completely mashed up, so I'm just going to put that in there, because you want some sort of chunks in there. I do want some of it to be mashed, so I'm going to take, and you know me, I'm with my mashing, I'm literally just going to break it down a little bit, but not so that it's completely soft. So I can take this down like this, and as you can see, it's making a good big dish. As you know, what I tend to do is, once I've cooked things, I will eat a quarter and I will put the other two into the freezer, and then that gives me meals at other times. If you're a family of 4 or 6 people, then you know this gives a really good tasty dish, and as I say, it's very inexpensive. If you think, these were the potatoes that I had at Christmas time, so you know, we're only into the second week or so in January. Hold on, I'm just going to make a noise. Chop those up. We're only in the second week in January, and so the whole bag of potatoes that I got, in fact I got 2 bags, as you know, they were 15p. So you know, you're not talking about very much at all. The cabbage I bought this week, and it was 75p for that great big huge cabbage, and I've only used half of it. The onions again were less than £1, so if you think of all of this, it is a very cheap, economical dish. Now I'm just literally going to put this down, just mix everything sort of in together. So I want the potatoes and the cabbage and everything in together, and then I'm going to turn the heat up a bit, because what I want to do is, we want some nice sort of crispy bits and things on there before we put it into the dish, because that just adds extra bits of flavour. Now I am going to add something that I've got. If you wanted to add, you could add ham. So if you've got any ham over, you could slice some ham and put that in. You could put some bacon in. So if you had some bacon, you could put some bacon. If you had tuna, you could put a tin of tuna in and have it as a tuna potato bake. I actually have some vegetarian sausages that I cooked. Let me just see. Yes, vegetarian sausages that I cooked the other day, and I used a couple of them for a recipe that I wanted to do for my supper, and this was what was over, so I thought, oh, I can add that to it. So I'm just literally going to add that in on the top, but you could add whatever you want. You know, this is where it goes from the tradition. The tradition bubble and squeak is the cabbage, potato and a bit of onion, and the colcannon and the rumblethump is exactly the same. It's just cabbage, potato. So this is the way that you can make it into a meal by adding bits and pieces if you want to. You don't have to, you can keep it exactly as it is, but if you do want to, it's an easy way of literally just mixing that in. I'm just going to turn the heat up quite high now to the top to just give it a bit of a little bit of browning on underneath, and I just need to leave it for 5 minutes or so to just get some nice browning underneath, and then I'm going to put it into let me just leave that like that. Right, I'm going to then put it into one of my lovely dishes. So like that, I'll put it in there. I will cover it with probably 2 ounces of cheese, a good handful, to just go on top. And then I'm going to pop it in the oven for about 25-30 minutes. So it's cooked right the way through, and the top is lovely and cheesy and bubbly and brown. And then I will be back and show you when the recipe's cooked completely. So see you in a minute. Hello. Well, it's come out of the oven. Absolutely beautiful and boiling hot. I will show you it close up. Let's put my plate over here for a minute. And then let me show you this one so I can bring it up so you can see it nice and closely. So you can see it's all sort of melted on the top, cooked nicely through, and it makes a very nice, simple, easy dish. And as I say, I will do it in quarters, and then I will put the other quarters into little freezer containers, pop them in the freezer, and then I've got something perfect for when I'm ready to have you know, another meal. So I can eat this for a couple of meals. So I thought I would show you. Let's just take some out like this. Take it out, and you can see it's quite nice, and just put that in like that. I need a little spoon to just take that off like that, so it's quite nice and firm. Now you could do a gravy with it, you could do a cheese sauce with it, you could do something if you wanted it wetter, entirely up to you. As I say, I've put the sausages with it only because I had it. You can put something else with it, but you can see on there you've got an absolutely delicious dish on there, and I know it tastes absolutely beautiful, but I will have just a little bit of it on here with a little bit of cheese, and as I say, that makes a beautiful dish. Very simple and very hot, very hot, but absolutely delicious. So I hope you enjoyed that. As always, please stay safe and well, please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.